Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Legacy, and this is Naya Initiative. I'm playing this deck today because the Cyberpunk TCG, now live on Kickstarter, check out the link in the video description, has sponsored a video. And I chose to revisit this Naya Initiative deck that I played in the basement battle versus Eco Baronin this month. Not that I find Initiative particularly compelling as an archetype myself, however, this list contains 4 copies of Summon JIMBO, which is both very fun to say out loud and also a very weird card. And when it enters Chapter 1, exile target artifact, enchantment, or tapped creature your opponent controls. Chapters 2 and 3 are both Ghostly Prison. Creatures can't attack you unless their controller pays 2 until your next turn. And then when it dies, you get a treasure where it's the number of opponents who control a creature with power 4 or greater. So you probably don't get any treasures. But it's a 5/5 that gets to attack twice, and it makes it really hard to attack you in the meantime. And this card's fascinating to me because I've never seen it in play anywhere. It's weirdly expensive on Magic Online. It's very hard to get because it only comes in treasure chests, and I guess collector boosters. It's also from the Final Fantasy Commander expansion, though you won't find it in any kind of draft booster. And I tracked down these cards to play this deck. I played one match versus Andreas, Eco Baronin in that playoff we did, but I want to see more. I want to see this JIMBO in play, and I want to see how this deck holds up over a full league of play instead of just one match. Let's try it out, and hopefully we can summon some JIMBOs. Enter the world of Night City with the official Cyberpunk trading card game, live now on Kickstarter. You're the leader of your own crew, competing against a rival crew to become a Night City legend. Take on gigs, crush your enemies, boost your street cred, and go down in history. Cyberpunk is the fastest Kickstarter to reach $5 million on its way to being the most funded Kickstarter game ever. It's not too late to be part of this project. All pledge tiers include exclusive promotional cards, with higher tiers including serialized Metal Legend cards. Beta product will be printed to demand, meaning backers are guaranteed the product they order. That includes your chance at exclusive items and card art that will only ever be printed in beta products. Use my link in the video description to join the biggest TCG Kickstarter in history. Wake up, Samurai. You've got a deck to build. I am on the play in round 1. And 2, 3, 4. Or 3, 4. I guess that's better. I have a turn 1 initiative dope. I'm going to keep it. Obviously, initiative decks are a force check strategy. I do have ways in my deck to mush through that. But this deck finds itself mulling to 6 or 5 to find that nut start. And here I am on the play. I have 4 mana. I have an initiative dope to deploy. I'm getting after it. Chrome Mox. Exile Simian Spirit Guide. Get the Forever Spirit Guide. My opponent has mulled to 5 with a 61 card deck. So I think what's about to happen is I'm going to get the initiative and then die. But for this golden moment, I will enjoy it. And I'm going to search for a mountain and pass the turn. I hope that they have a Thoughtseize start and they just got to give me a turn. Probably have to go into Lost Well. Oh, sick. What joy. It's a blue deck. Wow. All right. Life is good. Here we go. Going into the Lost Well gives me card selection. Forge kills them faster. I'm just going to Forge. Let's get it done. Hey! Who needs it? Who needs to go to the well when I'm destroying the best card in my deck anyway? Undermountain Adventure is not any of the things that Seasoned Dungeoneer triggers off of. Oh wait, it is a warrior. Shit! What have I done? All right. So I actually should have pre-commented this to give it... It would have been able to do the thing. What is the thing called? Explore. It would have been able to explore. I guess I should have double-checked that. In my head, for some reason, this one didn't work with this. But yeah, whenever you attack, target attacking cleric, rogue, warrior, or wizard gains protection from creatures until end of turn. It explores. Okay, definitely should have done this pre-combat. But in my head, I was thinking I would use the mana from Undermountain Adventurer to cast this card, but I don't actually need to do that. My opponent asked if I lost a bet or why would I play such a deck. I play a different deck every day. This is the job. Okay. I am going to do the second main Seasoned Dungeoneer. I can pay for a soft permission with Undermountain Adventurer. Okay, not punished by my poor sequencing. We did it. Okay, we're against some 61 card Tropical Island Tameo strategy. Is this some kind of Pokemoki bug pile? What are we doing over there? I feel like Chancellor of the Annex is just worse on the draw, and Broadside Bombardiers is good versus anyone who I'm trying to kill, which includes this opponent, for sure. I don't think I want Leyline, I don't think I want Conqueror. Artifact, Enchantment, Tapped Creature. In Beanstalk, I guess. I don't think I'm adding Yojimbos here. Yeah, I think I'm just making that one change and going in like this. Oh, all right. This is an uncounterable turn 1 guy if my draw step plus Once Upon a Time can develop the guy. I am going to keep. This is why you put Once Upon a Time in your deck, so you can keep hands like this. And unless my opponent counters the Once Upon a Time, they will not be able to interact with any step of this chain, assuming there is a chain to interact with. Okay, we're a Bant deck of some variety. Solitude. All right, Once Upon a Time, 5 looks at 12 guys. Seasoned Dungeoneer. There's the best one. All right, I've got Dungeoneer, which is a human and a warrior. Caves of Chaos Adventure. Human Barbarian. Okay, it's Caves of Chaos Adventure. I knew I wasn't completely crazy. This one doesn't work with Seasoned Dungeoneer because Barbarian is not one of the things Dungeoneer triggers off of. Yeah, I got twisted up. Okay, Caves of Chaos Adventure draws a card every turn. Dungeoneer explores. Yeah, I guess it doesn't really matter. All right, Cavern on human. And then 1, 2, 3, off they go. I'm a spell underneath Mindbreak Trap, and my creature is uncounterable. Though my opponent is a white deck. We will see. They just don't want to play anymore. There it is, the Oops All Spells experience coming from a Naya Initiative deck. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is brought to you by Tales of Adventure. TOAMagic.com has almost 100,000 unique cards in stock. They offer free track shipping on every order, plus next day or 2-day options when you have an event coming up fast. They offer on-site pickup at major Magic events throughout the US, so you're never scrambling before your tournament. Stop by their booth to buy, sell, or trade at upcoming regional championships, Magic Con, Spotlight Series, and more. I love their selection of individually scanned high-end cards that show you exactly what you're buying. And the best part is saving 5% on every order with promo code BOSH. From Ancestral Recall to Zombie Master, get what you need quickly and in one place at TOAMagic.com. Eternal lives here. I am on the draw in round 2. I have double protection here. I have Chancellor of the Annex and Cavern of Souls. I only have 3 mana to get going, though. If Once Upon a Time finds a Spirit Guide, I have turn 1 Seasoned Dungeoneer. If it finds a land, I have turn 2 Seasoned Dungeoneer. And this is definitely a keep. And I'll reveal Big Chancellor. And we'll see what happens with that. Okay, we've got a Grim Monolith getting countered. Alright, yeah, just gotta take your medicine, I suppose. Big Rips, Undermountain Adventure. Alright, Once Upon a Time, I'd really like a Spirit Guide here. Simian Spirit Guide. Found. I mean, I'm taking that. I'm just thinking about my sequence after that before I click on anything else. Once again, the Dungeoneer versus the Adventurer is kind of interesting because Adventurer can cast Dungeoneer. Yeah, alright. I think I'm going to start on Adventurer. I'll take Simian Spirit Guide, play a Lotus Petal. If they're going to Force of Will, it's kind of the spot to do it. Spirit Guide, Cavern on Warrior. Oh, that also gets Dungeoneer? Man, that's just good design. Alright, Cavern on Warrior. I'm going to search for a Plains, or now that I know that Seasoned Dungeoneer is a warrior, I guess I can get the mountain and start setting up Broadside Bombardier. Yeah, I'm going to get the mountain. Cool. This is a game where I definitely attack first. Even though I know the interaction, I want to both attack and make the mana. It looks like we're against Jewel Combo, and they're going to take the initiative from me with a Phyrexian Metamorph. I saw the life total start to change, so that only means one thing. Alright, this is definitely a deck that could just win over top. And they do have a basic island to search for. How lucky. Alright, I do not have the initiative right now, but I can reclaim it. I could play this Caves of Chaos Adventurer. This is probably a Force of Will deck. It's kind of annoying. But alright, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to assume my opponent has a brain in their skull and not bother to try to get a cheeky little attack in. I am going to forge, put 2 counters on Seasoned Dungeoneer. Because that's the one I plan to rumble with for the rest of the game, while Undermountain Adventurer is my mana. I'm just trying not to get comboed out. But the Adventurer being a double mana dork, this casts Coveted Jewel if they have it. But they are literally dead on board. I can attack them for 5 unblockable, and the trap does the other 5. So whatever they're doing, it has to happen right now. The One Ring. Okay, that'll buy you some time. Safe to say. Oh, that also means I have to trap myself. Okay, so I'm not going to go in the trap. I'm not going to fall for that shit. I will goad their Undermountain Adventurer. Okay, that has to attack me next turn, but it's probably going to tap for mana before they get there. And I could draw a card or make a spooky skeleton right now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cast this Caves of Chaos Adventure. See if you've come up with a Force of Will. Are you going to use it? 2 questions. They do have a force and they are going to use it. Okay, that means I am not going to attack. And oh, I could have attacked with this for the... Okay, yeah. I could have attacked with this for the Explorer for free. Yep. Yeah, these little things matter. In the initiative deck, feels kind of brainless when it's doing its thing, but I've made at least 3 small errors in how my cards interact and overlap. Pretty cool. Yeah, I could have gotten 1 Explorer in for freezies there. Transmute Artifact. All right, here comes a Coveted Jewel, and that might be the end of the road. One of us is dead here, F6. There is only 9 life to play with, which means Phyrexian Metamorph copying and Ancient Tomb tapping do have some limitations on them. But with all the transmute artifacts and copy artifacts and stuff in the deck, I don't expect to get a turn. And there's a Grim Monolith into a transmute artifact. Paradox Engine. Interesting. All right, that must mean they don't need more cards and they just have the deterministic setup here. Yeah, giving them a double mana dork is so busted, actually. And I didn't give it to them. They got it. But now that I know the matchup and that it's a Metamorph matchup, there's actually some real conversation to be had about leading on Seasoned Dungeoneer instead of Undermountain Adventurer, just in case they copy it. Lots to keep track of here. Coveted Jewel. I'm not going to concede, because like they are dead if I get a turn, but I don't expect to get one. Another Jewel, down and dirty from hand. Now every spell they cast nets or makes 11 mana. So it nets whatever the spell costs minus, or 11 minus whatever the spell costs. Like a 6 drop, they leave 5 floating. A 4 drop, they leave 7 floating, etc. Well, now it's more. Now it's 14 minus the cost of the spell. This deck is so fun. And it's fun being the initiative guy, being the bad guy over here, because I'm just not allowed to be upset about anything. I just get to enjoy the ride, because I'm here trying to make people scoop on turn 1 like my opponent last round. So when my opponent does something like chain the One Ring into 5 Coveted Jewels after copying my initiative creature, cool. Good job. A Preordain. That seems like a silly little card in this deck full of bangers. Going bottom with that. All 14 cards in their hand are bad. I'm calling it now. They're going to pass the turn and concede. I don't even know how that's possible. Are there 14 cards that this deck even plays that, if drawn in sequence right now, would stop the chain? Yeah, certainly not that one. That could even copy Undermountain Adventure if they wanted to, because it's a Metamorph. That's not better than Coveted Jewel, but if they wanted to take the initiative for some reason, it's available. Oh yeah. That'll do. That'll do. That's big enough. I'm in. Okay. That one was, I had Uncounterable and I had the turn 1 Chancellor and still just got smooshed. Clarion Conquerors come in, of course. Disruptor Flute, probably have to make room for. Exile target artifact or enchantment. Their deck's full of those. Yo, Jimbo, it's your time to shine. Solitude could exile their Emrakul at the end of the chain, but if they're at Emrakul, they probably have Force Will in their hand too, so I'm not going to put a lot of faith in that. Witch Enchanter's cool. Chancellor buys me time. I like that. Broadside Bombardiers. A haste creature to get in there and take a naked jewel could be pretty exciting. I just don't think that that's actually going to happen. Anointed Peacekeeper is excellent. I don't think I can cut my mana. And I do like the Chancellor. I'm against a Force of Will combo deck. The Chancellor is good coming and going here. think I'm going to shave some Once Upon a Times, and Loot seems more important than JIMBO to me. Can I get the Jimbos in? Are there 2 more cuts from my deck? I don't really see it. Okay, I guess I'm going to stay with the 2 that are in the main, but not go for the 2 that are in the board. I would start cutting Chancellors to make room for them, and that card just feels kind of important. All right, a big old brick. I could leave myself with 0 mana, 4 4-drops in play, and have a Disruptor Flute. That's not the way to do it. This hand is extremely disruptive, but doesn't have the payoff. Yeah, if one of these mana sources was a payoff 4-drop, this hand would be a banger. But we're out. Okay, here we go. This is turn 1. I have to get rid of 2 of these, so it's probably a city and a Peacekeeper. And I can go turn 1. I could go turn 1 nothing, turn 2 uncounterable Conqueror. Or I could go turn 1 Peacekeeper. I could go turn 1. Yeah, I think I want to go turn 1 Peacekeeper, turn 2 Conqueror, uncounterable. All right, I'm going to put one of the Peacekeepers, and it has to be one of the cities. All right, I don't really love this, but this is where we are. Just got to hope my opponent can't do anything ever. I'm going to keep the peace here. You've got trillions of mana and Karn. I guess I can name Sink into Super here. All right, Sink into Stupor. That stops them from bouncing my payoffs, or my lockout, and I just need to hit them a bunch of times. Island. Seasoned Dungeoneer. I don't think that's going to come into play this game. I'm going to name Dargon, because I have to. There's no sub-game of trying to bet that they didn't draw Force of Will, because I literally need the white. All right, Clarion Conqueror, you've got a Countryside to burn an 8. We're all in. They're dead in 3 turns. Here's the other island, and a pass. Attack. They're dead in 2 turns. Karn doesn't work. No Ukra Monoliths work. And they could copy my Peacekeeper with a Metamorph and have a blocker. They could play the One Ring and buy a turn that I can't attack them. All right, the Metamorph, that is a good one. And they probably copy Conqueror, because that one's more important here. Yeah. All right, I'm going to attack with Peacekeeper. Okay, they're taking the block. That's interesting. If they had gone to 6, they could have copied the Conqueror with copy artifact next turn, and I can never attack again. But now they can Sink into Stupor, and I can't replay my Conqueror. Yeah, I think they're over the hump here. If I draw a 2-mana land, I might have some game. If I can get this Peacekeeper on the board. All right, but my white mana is on Dragon, so I actually can't do anything ever. Yeah, I think they're just going to bounce Peacekeeper here, and me having drawn 4 non-mana sources in a row after that opening salvo is just going to be good enough. Yeah. All right, I'm good. GG. I shot my shot, had to mulligan a little too low for that, and had no follow-up. But that Phyrexian Metamorph was a pretty hot rip for them. On to the next round.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
I'm on the play in round 3 versus someone who is known for just kind of playing whatever the best deck is. I've got not much going on here. I'm going to mulligan this. That's not even close. Ugh. This is pretty bad too. Yeah, that just doesn't do anything. Straight to 5. Oh no. I've got 2 mana and Disruption, but the 2 mana don't cast anything. Straight to 4. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh god, Chromox is so bad here. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, alright. I'm gonna keep because a 3 is not gonna do anything. I'm gonna go Solitude, Chancellor, Chromox to the bottom, and just hope to draw a mana source at some point. Mountain Go hopefully tells the story that I'm Red Prison, though that's not much of a bluff because it's pretty close to what I am doing, at least strategically. Cabinet of Souls! Solitude's not what I wanted. I could play around Thoughtseize by putting the Lotus Petal into play. Then I at least have whatever color of mana I might need. And a Cabinet of Souls does bust this game open. Uh-oh. This smells like Reanimator to me. It is! Which is extra good news because Thoughtseize reanimate my initiative creatures is a whole game plan by itself. Right, I guess what I have to do. So what I want to do is concede before I give up information. What I would do if this was game 3, or if I was already down a game, is I would Solitude the Attrax in response to its trigger. But yeah, we got Force of Will, Thoughtseize, Tamiyo, all the normal stuff. That's Life Without Ponder in your deck, folks. Okay. Leyline of the Void looks good. Broadside Bombardiers, I think killing this opponent's going to be important. Chancel the Annex while I'm on the play. And JIMBO does not feel important at all. Stupid JIMBO. Yeah, Chancellor is like just not a very good card, and also sucks a lot if they reanimate it. But I am against a Thoughtseize deck, and this is my chance to be on the play. But that does put 8 bricks in my deck that only really work if they're in my opening hand. I guess a Chancellor can go, and oh, this is tough. I'll shave 1 Once Upon a Time, though that is really important. The range of keepable hands. Maybe on the play, Leyline's not that serious. And I could still have some, but I have Solitudes and I have the ability to kick their shit in. Okay, I'll try this. The old 3 Leyline, 3 Chancellor configuration. On the play, with a hand that still doesn't do anything. Mulligan. Okay. What do I need here? Nothing. It's all here. Turn 1 Undermountain Adventure with protection. Alright, keep, put Solitude to the bottom. Reveal Chancellor. I have 1 die I could roll here. I would strongly prefer to Once Upon a Time and then put Chancellor under the Chrome Mox, but that doesn't make green mana, which is what I need here. I'm just going to feed the Once Upon a Time to the Mox. Okay, there's Undermountain Adventure on the stack. I'm going to search for a Plains with this. That casts more things next turn than my other options. Okay, they are still under the Chancellor bubble. Gotta spend a turn doing something else here. Either developing a mana or just burning some spell. Or snuffing out my creature and paying the troll toll. That works too. I'm just going for damage. If I can turn off Reanimate, that's worth a lot. If I can make Snuff Out actually hurt, that's worth a lot. Picked wrong on the basic land I selected. Just fully at random. Adventurer, smash in. No follow-up play. Opponent's going to be stoked. Undercity Sewer. A blind flip here does turn on Reanimate for 2. Okay. Dump to Ponder. My opponent knows 2 of the 3 cards in my hand right now. They don't know about Caves of Chaos Adventure. Okay, 2 mana up. This could be a Bowmaster, but that gets countered. Could be Fatal Push. That doesn't get countered. Alright, we're going in the trap. Here at 9. Reanimate is almost off already. Alright, I'm going to attack. We're in there. Is it damage? We made it to attacks. Can I deal damage too? Could I be so fortunate? Surgical Extraction busts the bubble. And now you can play spells like, I don't know, Orcish Bowmaster can block, or Bitter Triumph could kill my creature. 6 life means Reanimate is off on your own things. Alright, Bowmaster, old Orcish Blocks Master. And I'm even about to go into the Archive, which means they can re-trigger the Bowmaster. I have an option now. I could put either of these things under Chrome Mox. That way they are gone. I can't cast either of them. I could stop them from getting Thoughtseize reanimated. But if I'm doing that, which one am I actually more scared of? Is kind of an interesting question. I could also just hold these in my hand and hope things don't go to shit. I'm going to do that. I'll leave my options open. Oh, you actually can't Thoughtseize reanimate. You're at 6. Okay, we're safe from that. Fatal Push reanimate at 2. All right, here's Thoughtseize. And Animate Dead still works. Took the Caves of Chaos Adventurer. Go to 3. Oof. All right. Well, there it is. Now my opponent takes the initiative, and I need a miracle to get back up. Yeah, I probably would have won this game trivially if I had searched for mountain first, but there's actually more white cards in my deck than red ones, and I just kind of ran bad there. Right, opponent has searched up an island, and big turn to draw Seasoned Engineer. Solitude. Are you late or are you right on time? All right, Chrome Mox. Exile Chancellor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All I can do is play it, and because of the City of Traders, I have to do it now. All right, opponent goes back to 4. They do have the initiative, but I'm at least playing the game again. Into the Lost Well. Scry 2. Bottom. That's what we like to see. Ponder, hate that for me. Shuffle it. Solitude is at least fatal push proof. My opponent's at 4, so I won't be getting snuffed out either. They need a Bitter Triumph or a better creature. And something like Murktide Regent certainly holds the fort here. A Barrowgoyf would do it. Tameo can block. Leyline of the Void right on time. I wonder if I'm even supposed to bring that in on the play. Not 2 things. Boo. Alright. I'm not winning this game anymore. They've had the initiative too long. I needed the Solitude to at least apply pressure. This is a horrendous matchup, by the way. Reanimator is just so bad for you because they have Thoughtseize, they can reanimate your creatures, take the initiative from you on the small. That's also naturally plays around Graveyard Hate. Even if I had Leyline, this matchup is still full of great. My opponent said they thought I was against Painter. So the strategic concession game 1, the Malda for play a mountain, never do anything again, was worth something, but not worth enough. On to the next one.
The NYSE Open is returning on June 6, 2026 to Long Island, New York. This proxy-friendly vintage tournament has the guaranteed prize pool of 8 pieces of Power 9 to be drafted by the top 8 based on final standings. Any additional profits made from the event will be added to the prize pool as on-site vendor credit. This tournament has been great the last 2 years. How often do you get to act sad about winning just a time walk? You know I'll be there. See you at the NYSE Open on June 6 on Long Island, New York. Use my link in the video description or find the New York Stacks Exchange on melee.gg.
I'm on the play in round 4 with a hand that doesn't do anything. I'm going to mulligan this. Okay, we're cooking. This is a turn 2 uncounterable Caves of Chaos Adventurer, followed by a turn 3 Caves of Chaos Adventurer. I'm going to keep this, bottom the broadsides, and reveal the Chancellor. And unfortunately, I do still have to play a land into Wasteland. I'm going to Cavern on Human. I think I'd rather have Ancient Tomb left over than Cavern if my opponent just rips off Wasteland right now. He's Scalding Tarn. Sweet. Ancient Tomb. Caves of Chaos Adventurer. Everyone's favorite human. And here, the white creatures I would play are humans, so I think I might get the Forest. Okay. Seasoned Engineer human, Anointed Peacekeeper human, Undermountain Adventurer is a giant warrior, even Witch Enchanter's a human. I'm going to get the Forest, just in case. Leaving my options open. End step fetch, Undercity Sewer. Kept the card on top. They are still under the bubble, the Chancellor bubble. Mox Opal. You can certainly afford to pay for that one, or just huck it. Alright, deleting Mox Opal to break the bubble, to brainstorm. I'm excited about this Undercity Sewers Mox Opal deck. Ooh, missed a land drop. Deadly. Yeah, I'm just gonna punch in the head here. And this one I do want to attack first because things happen that might want my mana or my land drop. Anointed Peacekeeper. Alright. Well, my opponent is dead next turn anyway, so I should use the thing that might disrupt them from playing the game and give me more information about their deck. Anointed Peacekeeper. Oh, it's the Epic Storm. How fun. I could name Dark Ritual with this. I could name Burning Wish. I think I want to name Dark Ritual. That seems like the hardest to overcome. Alright, yeah, I'm going to name Dark Ritual. This only has to hold for 1 turn. And here's the Forest I promised you. Alright, hope that bet holds. There's Brainstorm. If opponent finds LED Echo, they could make it happen. But even then, Dark Ritual is the best burst of mana the deck plays. Chrome Mox. Still gaming. Pitch the Squelcher. We'll gamble. Here we go. Blindside Down into the graveyard. Let's go. Beseech to the graveyard. Uh-oh. There's the LED. Mox Opal. Oh. Well, they've passed the turn where they're literally dead. So what's the game here? All right, you lose 5 life, and then I attack you for 10. And, all right, yeah, I'll just go to combat. All right, cool. All right, that was just flinging crap at the wall, and my crap was faster. Clarion Conqueror for sure. Leyline of the Void slows down their fastest lines. It turns off their Echo lines and their Gaia's Will lines, but it doesn't stop them from winning, and it makes me mulligan in a stupid way. But I think I want Solitudes and Broadsides out. Clarion Conqueror for sure coming in. Disruptor Flute is useful. Yojimbo's pretty bad. The reason for the season, Yojimbo. I guess I want some Disruptor Flutes in here. And the deck is pretty rebuilt to just kind of do the thing. There's no Archons of Emeria, unfortunately, in this build. And I am on the draw. Do I want Leylines on the draw to try to buy myself one turn? Or do I use Chancellor for that? Though, if I have one or the other of these in my opening hand, would I prefer it to be Leyline? I guess is another way to think about this. Like, I'd rather put Chancellor under a Chrome Mox, but if I'm going to interact on turn 0, I'd prefer it to be with Leyline. Okay, I think I found the right answer there. But it's not like Dredge or Oops where I'm going to mull to the Leyline. I'm going to mull hands that aren't good, and if they happen to have Leyline, that's great. Can I get this last Disruptor Flute in? Where would that come from? It feels silly not to have it, but also I don't want to overboard. And I do want to be able to keep hands. I'd probably cut a Once Upon a Time for it. And although I always seem to want to cut that card, it's also always great when it's in my opener. Okay, I'm going 3 Disruptor Flutes. It's going to have to be good enough. All right, just show me a great 7 that also has Leyline. It's a good enough 7 that also has Leyline. I will keep, and I'm very close to a turn 1 Clarion Conqueror. All right, I hope that Leyline stops what you're doing. If they just have a clean Beseech line for Song of Creation, that didn't do anything. Okay, any colored spell gets Clarion Conqueror into play. Or I could wait. All right, I'm going to go Cavern on Human to throw off the scent. And I'm going to play out the Lotus Petal, because that could flash in a flute if I need it to. Like, if my opponent starts storming up, I could Disruptor Flute Beseech the Mirror, which I think is the way out, as long as Leyline is in play. And they probably have Boomerang Basics and stuff. We know they have Burning Wish to try to set something up. Kept a card on top. Getting Thoughtseized here wouldn't be my favorite. Chrome Mox. Pitch the Tendrils, interesting. Okay, Lotus Petal from hand. This mana does not cast Song of Creation. Or wait, yes it does. Does it? Yeah, it does. Wow, right out of the hand, you maniac. Alright. I guess this has to resolve. I don't think trying to like Disruptor Flute naming Mox Opal in response to Break the Chain is going to work. Yeah, this is Rug +1 colorless. The Tendrils of Agony covers the colorless. 2 cards in hand. And there goes Mox Opal. Dark Ritual. Man, the song right out of the hand. That was, I think, the only thing they could have done here. If they put Beseech on the stack, I would have responded with Disruptor Flute on Song of Creation, then it would have cost 2 out of the Beseech. Okay. I don't think there's 2 Tendrils in the deck. They could get, like, Burning Wish here, or just anything that is a spell that draws 2 cards. Empty the Warrens, sure. Summon Yojimbo, where are you? Alright, I can't win this game. 1 mana short on this keep, and 1 literally Song of Creation out of the grip. That'll do. Okay, I kind of did like the feeling of having Leyline. Chancellor may have helped there. I'm trying to figure out if I can get Chancellors back in, but that's so many bad cards with the Leylines and the Chancellors. Is the initiative better than Broadside Bombardier? Just killing them a turn faster versus having more things that stand on their own? I could see Undermountain Adventurer being worse than Broadside Bombardiers. No, none of this works with Clarion Conqueror in play. Yeah, maybe I'm going to bring in the Broadsides and cut 3 Adventurers. All right, I'll try this. I don't think I want 1 Summon Yojimbo just in case they go for Empty the warrens. Okay, I could... And I'm keeping this hand. Alright, I'll keep. And I'll just turn 1 the Clarion Conqueror. And hope that holds. I got a lot of mana here, but obviously only 1 spell. Chrome Mox. Exile Peacekeeper. And my Conqueror turns off my Chrome Mox as well. I gotta hope that this Clarion Conqueror is really good against their hand. I guess I should also not just F6. Because they gotta respect Mindbreak Trap. Okay, 8 cards in hand. Going to clean up. Are they just gonna dump an Echo here? Or are they actually in that much trouble? Wow, okay. I'm gonna attack with Conqueror. And I'm gonna invest a Cavern on Human. Just to hit my land drop, even though I've drawn another land. They're going to clean up again. Must have kept a hand with all artifact mana. Squelcher gone. Disruptor Flute. Okay. We know Cavern on Goblin. This is mostly just a way to not hurt myself when I cast Disruptor Flute. I could probably Disruptor Flute Boomerang basics here pretty confidently. I'm actually going to do that. Disruptor Flute, aiming Boomerang basics. That makes their best out to Clarion Conqueror costs 3. Heck yeah, Lotus Petal. Love to see you, you jackass. Alright, Clarion Conqueror, coast to coast, big guy. The deck's not coming to help you. Going to clean up again. Beseech the Mirror gone. Leyline of the Void, which I cannot cast. Or really do anything with. Is there a creature type left in my deck? There is 1 giant. There are no elementals. There is a Phyrexian Angel. There is not a Saga Samurai. There are apes and elves, which are also both spirits. I'm just not going to play this land. There's enough variation left that it might actually matter. Alright, playing out a dead Mox Opal rather than going to discard. That makes sense. Once Upon a Time that I also cannot cast because Lotus Petal's off. I guess I should play the Lotus Petal. In case my Conqueror gets cleared, that gives me a window to cast Once Upon a Time. You've got a Lotus Petal. Twinning. Okay. Rewarded for holding back the Cavern of Souls, I guess. Cavern on Spirit. And then, or, nope, it would have been way better to just cast Once Upon a Time. That was silly. Shit. Alright. I'm not going to compound mistakes here. But I should have done this pre-combat. I do have haste creatures in the deck. Conqueror that I can't cast. Witch Enchanter I can cast. Reducing my life total may or may not come back to haunt me here. If they get some sort of down and dirty, natty Tendrils situation going. But Tendrils is in the graveyard. But I do like adding a second lethal threat to the board. It's as if I had just cast the Elvish Spirit Guide. Okay, Chrome Mox. Moment of Truth, they gotta do whatever they're gonna do right now. LED. LED. Are they just gonna show me 7 artifacts and concede? That would be great. Yeah, that was a very stupid game, but we got the GGs. Sometimes you cast 1 spell and you win. Sometimes you cast 0 spells and you lose. That's my experience so far with this deck. We've got 1 match to go and I still have not summoned any JIMBOs.
The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Resleevables. In this YouTube series, hosts Patrick Sullivan and Patrick Chapin go set by set through Magic's past, leveraging their decades of experience as Pro Tour players and game designers to analyze the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a deep dive into the facts, mechanics, cycles, trivia, decks of the time, and historical context of the set. The hosts dig into notable cards of the era and their lasting impact today. Each set gets an award show where the hosts pick their favorite cards for categories such as Best, Worst, and Weirdest. And finally, give a letter grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Resleevables has it at youtube.com/theresleevables.
I am on the draw in the final round, positive record on the line. I have 4 mana and a thing. I'm in. This hand could actually Undermount Adventurer twice, which is pretty nice. If the first one gets countered, I am still gaming. Underground Sea, Ponder. I don't think I can afford to play around Daze. I'm just going to send it. Oh, okay. Hold on. Now I could totally play around all counterspells if I was willing to go be a little patient. Or I could send one turn 1 and then send an uncounterable one turn 2 if that doesn't pan out. All right. I'll go Chromox. I could exile Witch Enchanter to beat Daze now that I've drawn another land. I was going to exile Spirit Guide. All right, exile Witch Enchanter. Lotus Petal. All right, yeah, now I have the cheeky anti-Daze technology. And then I have the uncounterable follow-up next turn. Force of Will. All right, that one works. Force Pitching Force. I don't level Wasteland here, but I am 1 mana away from pushing through that. Oh, could I have Caverned there? If I played Cavern instead of Ancient Tomb, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh yeah, I just had it. I did not count everything I needed to count, which has been a pretty normal sequence of my life so far in this league. Undermountain Adventure is on the stack. It cannot be countered. A Seasoned Engineer is a warrior. Caves of Chaos Adventure is something else, but I have a backup Cavern anyway. I'm just going to get the plains. All right, opponent has assembled 3 mana. Are we against Doomsday? Are we against some Show and Tell deck? Are we going to get... We're probably not going to get stormed out from a Force of Will deck. What do we got? Oh, Barrowgoyf. I can't beat that one either. Perfect. Yeah, just main deck Barrowgoyf. Got my ass. This is a 5/6 already. Cool. Cool. Now it matters a lot that I did my sequencing poorly on turn 1, because I could have had a full turn of development here. I think I have to Lost Well. I'm in emergency meeting territory. 2 lands to the bottom. No thank you. Big draws. Chance of the Annex. I hate you. Do I have to Cavern on Spirit here? No, I could just tap Undermountain Adventurer. Yeah, I'm not going to Cavern on Spirit. Cast Elvish Spirit Guide as a blocker to hold the initiative for another turn, I hope. Next turn I could cast Chance of the Annex uncounterably, but it still doesn't beat Barrowgoyf. I could double block Barrowgoyf, lose everything, but I have the initiative. Undercity Sewer, pre-combat. And my Spirit Guide does appear that it's going to get a chance to block. Looking good. Right, I'm going to go into the stash, I guess. I don't want to go with the Barrowgoyf. It's going to attack anyway. It doesn't need any extra encouragement. And the skeleton can jump block again on the way to the Throne of the Dead 3, which could get Solitude, and that's my way out of this. Ooh. Interesting. All right, well, I'm going to attack first. That I'm allowed to do. And then second main, 1. What is this other Cavern supposed to be on? Do I want to Cavern on Angel for next turn? Because I'm going to play my Undermountain Adventurer now. All right, I am going to Cavern on Angel. But I'm not going to cast that Angel just yet. I'm going to make a Spooky Skeleton. Now I have 3 blockers for Barrowgoyf. 2 of them can double block and finish it off. If my opponent has Orcish Bowmaster here, that's super annoying. I'm just going to hope that they don't. Life is Pain. Mana's being tapped. Yep. Fuck me. All right, we'll see how bad this gets, because I do get to enter the Throne of the Dead 3 next turn. My opponent will have to attack with everything to get the initiative here, which means I get to eat the Bowmaster. I could take a hit from Barrowgoyf, and they'd have to come up with a removal spell plus a blocker or 2 blockers. But Orcish Bowmaster is 2 blockers. Yeah, can't let me get into the throne here. Okay, very important decision here. I'm going to block the Bowmasters. I'll begrudgingly let Barrowgoyf cook. All right, you have the initiative. Even something like Murktide or a second Barrowgoyf I could overcome here. It's specifically 2 blockers in 1 card. That would be rough. They missed. All right, that was a mill 5 that did not yield a creature. That doesn't mean there's not another Bowmaster in hand. There's a Tameo. There's the island. 2 cards in hand over there. Oh, that's so good. All right. I'm going to attack, and we'll see what happens. Attack with all creatures. Okay, no blocks. We're in the throne. Big money. Caves of Chaos Adventure gets to cast a free spell every turn. Yeah, that seems like the place to be here. Now my Undermountain Adventure is tapped for 6. I go back into the secret cavern, secret room, whatever it's called. I'll get Mountain. And now I have 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 mana I could play with, though I don't have enough white to do everything. 1, 2, 3. I could play Chancellor, or I could just try to Solitude this thing. They do have 2 cards in hand. And at this point, I don't mind jump blocking a Barrowgoyf with Undermountain Adventurer. Solitude's just so freaking good. Oh, wait, can I do both, actually? Hold on. I don't think so, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I'm one short of doing both. I briefly got excited for a second. I thought I could do it, but I cannot. Alas. I'm casting Solitude right now. It would take Force plus blue card out of their hand to mess this up. And they did have it. All right. So now they are empty. And I am chilling. Happy to chump block Barrogoyf and then start casting spells for free. Doing lots of damage. Kaito would mess me up pretty good. These have Vigilance, not Reach. I could also just trade Barrogoyf for the Caves of Chaos Adventurer. This hits so hard, and it draws cards. No. Alright, I need Barrogoyf off the table. This is the decision I'm making. And because this has the big hexproof, I think that's safer than... Okay. The old top deck Kaito, literally right off the tippity top. There it is. That's fine. That's fine. I was prepared for that possibility. Opponent gets to Forge or Lost Well. Their card in hand is Tamiyo. Kaito's not actually... Or I guess Kaito could stun one of these, and Tamiyo could block the other, and they could hold the initiative for a turn. Not gonna lie, I'm pretty bummed that card was Kaito. Okay, they're going for the Surveil 2. They went top bottom on the Scry, and then Surveil 2. They found a card that they believe is better than stunning one of my creatures. Dumped Barrogoyf and Brazen Borrower. Why Scry to the top and then Surveil them both away? That's very strange to me. Oh, no. That's the Barrogoyf I just traded with. They surveilled one away. Orcish Bowmaster has to be the card. Nothing else makes any sense. Oh, here we go again with the Solitude question, but this time I know the answer. They do not have Force of Will in their hand. Okay, I'm going to attack your life points directly, and I'm going to Solitude the Bowmaster before it can block. Yep. Oh my god, what? Solitude go in. Lock that down. I go to 5. Not bothering to block at this point. Yeah, creatures are worth more when you're at 24 life. Do I want to forge? And if so, onto whom? Forging onto Solitude's pretty hot. Though that makes it very easy who to tap down. I'm actually going to forge onto one of my Mountain Adventurers, because that makes it harder to decide what Kaito should do here. They don't really want me gaining life, but they also can't attack through a 5/6. Tamiyo. It is scary that they milled away Brazen Borrower last turn. They don't think that's a good card. In this spot, I would think anything that impacts the board at all would be worth at least trying to keep around. Tamiyo flips. I wonder if this is the longest game in history where someone could have cast Chancellor of the Annex and there was something better to do. Normally, if you can do that, you probably should. Fatal Push is on here. Kaito went for tapping, but Kaito doesn't have a good attack here, which means I hold the initiative. Is the trap actually good? I think I do want to draw the extra card. Alright, I will trap. Chrome Mox, kinda late. I have to go to 3 to cast Chancellor, though casting Chancellor pre-combat's pretty nice. I think I want to attack Kaito with both of my creatures and see what my opponent does here. Attack Kaito, attack Kaito. You can't save it, not with what's showing. We'll probably just let it die. But it being off the board is good for me, either way. Okay. Now I'm at 7. I could afford a little bit of nonsense here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. Chancellor of the Annex on board. Tamiyo is operational. She's good for a Brainstorm, a Hymn to Turok, a Ponder, or a Force of Will, or a Thoughtseize. None of those are pretty good. Or I guess you might have to Brainstorm if it's an emergency. But the cards I'm scared of in the graveyard are the non-spells. All right, Barrogoyf. Days. They can afford it. Pay the 1. Okay. The second main deck Barrogoyf has arrived. Tamiyo pulling up Force of Will. Okay. Wasteland, yeah. Your hand is Force and 1 unknown. And you could waste me off various caverns. Ooh, the JIMBO! Exile target. It has to be a tapped creature. Artifact, enchantment, or tapped creature. Okay. Okay. So you're saying there's a chance. I chump block Barrogoyf for a turn, and then Jimbo does something for the first time in his life. I will cast the Simian Spirit Guide. Is this worth a Force of Will to you? It is not. I guess I kill Tamiyo with the Chancellor. I do have a flying creature now. They still need 2 removal spells to get through one of their creatures. And their next room in the Undercity is the Stash. I'm not really worried about that room. We could just donk that back and forth. It's kind of disappointing knowing they have Force of Will in hand when I have the Jimbo. Maybe I could throw it into the other one, or it can't be countered. Murktide Regent. Daze it. Oh, that taps them out of Force of Will. Okay, they're getting Jimboed. Presumably, Barrogoyf will attack here. Well, they did just make it 4-5 by playing that Murktide Regent. And they tap themselves out. Wow, playing around the Summon Yojimbo? Opponent's on another level over there. Wasting my Cavernon Angel. Yeah, it would be a shame if I played a second one of those. Wasting my Ancient Tomb. Alright, you've done it. Throne of the Dead 3. Let's go. My second visit to the throne this game. Who would win? 2 Thrones of the Dead 3 or Barrogoyf? Oh, Broadside Bombardiers. That is not quite lethal. It could kill the Barrogoyf in a variety of ways. I could just take Solitude, point it at the Murktide Regent, and get back to work here. Seasoned Dungeoneer makes Undermountain Adventurer unblockable, while doing other things too. But I'm pretty worried about this Murktide Regent. I don't want to just die to that thing while I'm goofing around with other stuff, so I'll take the Solitude. And I'll take the Murktide Regent. Hey, draw for turn. Hey! They did not waste my Cavernon Warrior. This gets the Forest out of my deck. Will be my land for turn. Thanks for that. And I'm going to attack with my big Undermountain Adventurer and my Flying Chancellor. Flipped a Cavern off of that thing. Okay, I feel pretty good here. I don't know if Jimbo's going to get his moment, but I do feel good here. Man, scooping him up before I can summon any Yojimbos. Okay. Summon Yojimbo. My opponent is a deck full of creatures that are bigger than mine. Maybe this is where this thing is destined to be. And I don't really like any of my other sideboard cards. Maybe Broadsides. I am incentivized to play from ahead in this game. Big chance of the Annex, bad draw, except turn 1, which is also true of Once Upon a Time, but Once Upon a Time incentivizes me to keep hands, where Chancellor incentivizes me to mulligan them. A Broadside is just a clean answer to Barrogoyf. It'll cost me something big, but I'm probably losing to Barrogoyf anyway. Maybe I'll leave in 1 Chancellor. It's kind of a weird card to have numbers other than 4 or 0 of. Alright, I'm going to live with it. It is a white card for Solitude and for Chrome Mox. And if I do have an Abbot in my opener, whoopee. It's one of these hands that might be capable on the strength of Once Upon a Time, but knowing I'm against a Wasteland Days Force of Will deck, Once Upon a Time would have to hit Cavern for me to be happy with this. So, I'm going to keep. I don't really want to chase 5, knowing that they could also just Wasteland the 5 and I never play a spell. This one at least has some staying power, some ability to do anything. I do really wish this was Ancient Tomb, though. Wander did not shuffle. Caves of Chaos Adventurer, Once Upon a Time, and it did find Cavern of Souls. That's exciting. Yeah, I'll take that Cavern, and I guess I have to just play it here. My hand is honestly an incredible spread. We've got Human Cleric, Goblin Pirate, Giant Warrior, Saga Samurai, and Human Barbarian. Saga's not a creature type, that's an enchantment type, so I'm fudging a little bit here, but there are 10 different card types on my creatures here, and none of them overlap. Is that the high score? I think I have to lean in the direction of an initiative creature. I'm going to name Warrior and pass. Wasteland is, I think, the number 1 and only card I'm really upset about here. Nice! Good news, everyone. Kept the card on top. It's probably Barrogoyf. Tameo. The Tameo means I have to worry about Kaito. If their head is all the way up, they could force this Lotus Petal right now. That would be pretty efficient. Ooh, their head is up. You hate to see it. City of Traders. And no warriors to cast here. Big Barrow. The big, beefy Barrow boss. Another City of Traders. You love to see it. Alright, I'll cast this warrior. And I'm going to search for a Plains. I'll get Plains and pass. I don't think I'm going to chump block here, because my mana's pretty important to me. Cracking the Clue before combat. Uh-oh. I might not have a choice to chump block. Fatal Push? Oh, yeah. Well, Yojimbo, You're going to be pretty important here. I lose the initiative. Swamp. The mill hit 2 Murktide regions. Yeah, that card's pretty good. It's also blue in case there's a Force of Will left in their hand, which I hope there's not. All right, it's time to summon a Yojimbo and hope that I don't lose to any of the million ways they could stop this. We're in there. Oh my god. Exile Barrowglyph. I've summoned a Yojimbo. We did it. Win or lose from here. Yojimbo's been summoned. I'm not sure how I'm getting through this Murktide they're about to play, but Yojimbo's been summoned. Beefing up Tamio. They want some heat on that taco. Oh no. Children's Edict. My Yojimbo. And exactly the mana over to play Murktide still. And I can't even draw Seasoned Dungeoneer to get out of this. I'm still dead to the damage. I think I'm on no outs from here. Yep, full size, Murktide, and okay. I mean, I could get Broadside Bombardier in, take the initiative, and then just die anyway. 8, 10, 15, yep. Alright, dead. I don't need to reveal Broadside Bombardiers in this environment. Is there anything different to do here? The problem with something like Disruptor Flute is their deck has 4 or 5 different threats I care about, and at least 3 different removal spells I care about. It's hard to pin down any one thing that I would Disruptor Flute. I don't really want to spend the time naming Force of Will with this when my deck has Cavern of Souls in it. Okay, on the play, are we making a Chancellor adjustment here? I could shave a Once Upon a Time, and maybe I'm a little too bullish on broadsides. Okay, I'll try this. Little extra Chancellor on the play. Let's go. This one is not close enough, even with the Once Upon a Time. This one could get there. I'm going to keep this and bottom one of the City of Traders. Chancellor has been revealed. And then Once Upon a Time, without paying its mana cost. There is an Adventurer. Okay. I'll take it. And I wish this was Ancient Tomb so I could play it. But I guess I will Cavern on Warrior and hope that they don't have Wasteland. But even if they do, I could start to push back. If they Wasteland here, that's that they're not breaking the Chancellor bubble. Okay, that's fine. I do have a green. Ooh. Or we're just in there. Yeah, we're just in there. Obviously would have done that last turn if I could, so my opponent knows that I just drew one of those mana sources. I'm going to dig up a Plains and pass the turn. Alright, Chancellor, this is it, buddy. The shield is up. You've successfully gotten Adventurer into play. Can you keep it there? Opponent has not cast a spell yet. Snuff Out's kind of a beating. I'm still forging. You can't make me stop. I have all of my basic lands, and I am simply not going to play any spells here, because I don't have any to play. Opponent can now resolve a 1-drop. Yeah, Fatal Push goes crazy here, though I do still have the initiative. For now, alright. Here we go. Now I'm bummed I didn't play out that land, but I do have 3 drops I could draw. I trap you. You're at 9. Yojimbo. Man, City of Traders. Such a beating that this land is the land that I have. My options here are start to build out mana, but I set myself back a turn by playing to the next turn. Or I could play to the out of finding a Spirit Guide, Chromox, or Lotus Petal, and I think that's better. Brainstorm. I would kind of love it if they Wasteland me, actually. Like, that's a play that doesn't move their game forward, that kills a land that I don't really want to play anyway. I'm pretty worried about Orcish Bowmaster right now. Even Murktide's actually really good. They can actually put it into play, and it'll arrive. Okay. That rules out most of the things I'd be worried about. That's not Bowmaster, that's not Murktide. Tamio doesn't deal damage. Like, Tamio into Kaito would be pretty tough. Oh, the full pass, let's go. That's good news. All right, I'm in the archive. Seasoned Dungeoneer and Chromox. Hey, we did it. Chromox. That resolved very quickly. And if this resolves, I'm into the throne immediately. Wow, let's go. Just like that. We unlock. Do I want Chancellor in play? Or do I want to start going back through the initiative faster? Yeah, I'm going to take this giant fucking flyer that makes it impossible for them to play the game. All right, go. Yeah, they're at 8 also. I forgot that little detail. How big is Chancellor? 8-8? 8-9? Yeah, okay. And the discipline of holding that city of traders. There might be a ancient tomb gamer within me yet. Okay, a positive record. I summoned one JIMBO, and it did kill a Barrogoyf. I guess that's cool. As far as playing the deck, there were a number of little things that I missed, like mostly around creature types, like what gets the most money off of a Cavern of Souls, or what actually triggers off of a Seasoned Dungeoneer. There were a couple little things like that I didn't do great, but I did still win most of the games where those things happen. Not that that makes it okay, but the games that I lost were like multi-4 without seeing a playable hand, which is why I tend to gravitate towards decks that cast Ponder. But also the decks I play that cast Ponder never let someone concede on turn 1, which we had at least one game where somebody literally scooped on turn 1, and we had another game, the one against the Epic Storm, where it took 8 turns, but my opponent did lose on turn 1 to my Clarion Conqueror, who did all 20 damage. In this particular build, the mana is rough. Like the guessing game of, I turn 1 an initiative creature, what basic do I get, actually cost me. Like, I have more white cards than red ones, but also if you draw Caves of Chaos Adventurer, you're cooked. I do kind of wish this was 2 colors. I think we have the technology with 4th Aerlingus and more Broadside Bombardiers to just make this Boros. But Undermountain Adventurer is actually my favorite initiative guy. I love that it's a mana dork. Why is it a mana dork? That's so crazy. And tabbing for 6 when you've completed a dungeon is pretty cool. I think Undermountain Adventure is actually secondary to Once Upon a Time. That's the real green card we're playing. And we don't have Spirit Guide yet, so getting actual green cards off your Elvish Spirit Guide, pretty useful. I don't know. I wish this was more reliable at casting the spells, because you're going to mulligan a lot anyway to even have the amount of mana to cast the spells, and then also worrying about the quality of the mana as well as the quantity of the mana seems like you're just working too hard. But, I mean, positive record without playing great, so maybe there's a lot of meat still on this bone. I'm going to leave this one here. If you're into Cyberpunk, check out the link in the TCG in my description to the Cyberpunk TCG Kickstarter that is live until the end of the week. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check out the Patreon. I'll see you next time.